I'm going to crack this thing open.
You know how like advent calendars for kids, those chocolates?
Yeah. Yep, we got one.
I'm like that with pumpkin pie.
No, it's my first Marvel movie. Everyone's like, oh my god, you got to see a Marvel movie in theaters. So I'm like, okay, I'll go see Spider-Man.
Maybe they should have been in there because I have some opinions on why Georgia is in the playoffs. They should not be in the playoffs.
Oh my god.
Why should
Not
they?
you.
They just lost.
Welcome to the Beer and Sports Podcast. We are a part of Fans Talk Sports Network. I'm starting off hot lately here. Make sure to like and subscribe, both of us and the network, to stay up to date and catch every episode of us and all the great shows within the network. Beer and Sports Podcast at Mugs and Balls on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. And then Fins Talk Sports Network, Fins Talk Sports Network, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And then we got us, the important people. Josh Kimmel, OUS, opposite side. What is up, buddy?
What's up, man? What's going on? What? Hey, look, before we get started, what are we drinking, man? Cheers.
Well,
dude.
first of all,
hold on. I haven't seen you in a week.
Let's drop my Twitter handle. I'm not just going to throw your Twitter handle out there and not drop mine. Josh Wingate 302.
Look, they're all here for me. They're here for me. You're just there.
I'm here to form the dream team here, so that's why I'm sipping on some dream team.
I did a lot of drinking this weekend, like a lot. Like
yeah,
Ric
you
Flair
did
night, good evening,
a Ric
Dave.
Flair night, yeah.
Yeah, it was, this brewery down the road, Angry Chair Brewing. They always do a Ric Flair night. Actually, they used the way they used to interview people. You had it. They quizzed you on Ric Flair. You wouldn't get hired if you didn't know anything about Ric Flair. Legit.
Wow.
It's been going on for years and years and years and years. Ric Flair's actually been there multiple times, and it's been awesome. So they do a costume contest. I was gonna dress up like Jim Hacksaw Duggan and win the contest, but I broke my back and I stopped working out, and I just became a fat mess. Like I got beer, I got candy, I got Girl Scout cookies. Like I just went from total TB12 to total this.
Oh, so TB12 is like annexed, like no more.
Yeah, the nature boy, baby. See, Ric Flair is always styling, profiling. So am I.
Yeah.
Rest of my life. This is how I'm gonna live my life now. Broken.
You know who his
back.
college football team is, right?
Actually, I don't.
Georgia Bulldogs, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, Georgia Bulldogs, baby.
Who cares? Who cares? But yes, a lot happened this weekend. As in, did not know baseball was back.
Yeah, baseball is back. Phillies, they won. I believe they are.
Nobody cares. Literally,
3-1 right now. Like, look at us.
Nobody cares.
Styling, profiling.
Stop. The only thing that the only thing I want to talk about baseball real quick. Then we'll get to the Miami Dolphins.
You tell me about this. What would you like to talk about?
The rules. I don't understand the rules. I don't know what's happening.
What rule did you want to talk about?
I don't know. All of a sudden, this guy just got first base, or got struck out.
Yeah, he struck out
first base. And he got struck out.
So now there's a batter and a pitch count. Batter has so much to get ready. A lot of batters like to be out there, strap it on their batting gloves and do all that stuff. You have to be in the batter's box by a certain time. He was not there, ready to receive the pitch, and they call it strike 3 because you get a strike if you're not. It was the third strike, so he out of there.
Is it just a spring training thing, or the whole? Like, are they just testing it? Or are they just bringing it to the?
I'm not 100% sure. From what it sounds like, it is ready. Like it is going full-fledged in there.
If baseball wasn't broken already, guys, it's totally
even more broken
now.
now.
It's like we're gonna we need robots calling the balls and strikes. We need this pitch count to stop. We need this to stop. You can't flip a bat. You can't celebrate. You can't smile. You can't have fun.
Yeah,
it's just the most ridiculous sport I've ever seen.
They're trying so hard to get relevant on TV. This sport is not a TV sport. Take what you can right now. It's great. I know that's where all the money comes from. But the game is a go-to the stadium. Sport. Watch it live. That is where you get it at. And it's one of the best sports to go. Night game, watch live. It's intense, especially if your team's good. I love going to a baseball game.
Look, I used to go to Rays games all the time. Like,
Yeah,
we've
we've
talked
heard
about
it.
this.
We've
But hold
had
on.
like 20
But the
episodes
thing-
of you
the
telling
thing-
me going
but
with
the
your
thing
brother.
is, I'm not going to go into that. The thing is this. The thing is this. It's not. They've been good. The Rays have been good for the past decade. It's not fun to go. So you know what I do when I watch a baseball game
What?
live? I just I spend more time in the concourse walking around than in the seats because it's fucking baseball. Who cares?
Everyone cares. It's America's pastime.
Who cares?
America cares.
Although I do like playing the game where you pass the hat around and everyone puts money.
I
in it,
see
and then-
Dave Stager's in here saying boo baseball and all that. I'm not putting that
Yeah.
up there. Why would I put that up there?
Baseball sucks.
Baseball is one of the greatest sports of all time.
You know what doesn't
It's
suck?
amazing.
You know what doesn't suck? Josh Wingate, 302
What's that?
on Twitter, is this Vic Fangio signing, $4.5 million apparently to a
Yeah.
year, which is awesome. Good for him. Let's get into some Miami Dolphins defensive game plan this offseason. Like, look, full disclosure, I'm a fantasy guy. I like offense. I like points. I like to score. I score a lot, like a lot. So the thing is we need some offense. But I'm gonna try this defensive thing. I'm gonna see it, but I'm gonna break it down for you the most rookie way I can. But Josh, take it over.
So today, I mean, I came with a schedule. I want to talk about stuff. Figure we
you
get
have more?
into what's
Oh,
that?
you have some more? Did I cancel like your plans like that? Did I take your production and just scrap it up?
No, I'm not worried
Okay.
about you. I want to get into something that you can talk about most likely, Jalen Ramsey. The realistic option, is he a realistic option for Miami? Dolphins, defensive free agents. I want to get into that a little bit. And then kind of review the roster, kind of like what we did last week with the offensive side, review what they have on the roster and figure out some needs there. And then finally come up with some free agents that might be viable, not these long shot ideas that the fans are throwing out there. Like, hey, let's go get this top free agent, and then go get this top free agent, and then how about this top free agent, and this middle tier free agent. Dolphins just don't have the money for that. Yeah, they can free up some cap space, and they can do this and they can do that. But let's try and be a little more realistic. It's probably not going to happen, but let's get into it. Jalen Ramsey's all the talk right now. Most likely going to be traded. I think they said he's definitely going to be traded. What are your thoughts on that as far as just the NFL world, Jalen Ramsey being traded?
I mean, it's no surprise to me in this day and age. 5 years ago, yeah, like, wow, this is big news. But to me now, players being traded left and right, AJ Brown being traded, everyone, Diggs being, it doesn't surprise me anymore. Now, where do I want him to go, or what kind of impact does he have? He's a great impact, great player still. Does he fit this Miami Dolphins defense? I'm not sure. What's it going to cost to acquire someone like Jalen Ramsey? I think. Look, full disclosure, my computer died yesterday. Right? I want an Apple computer. Like, I never had one. I've always been like a Surface guy, but
Yeah.
I want that Apple computer.
It's nice.
But I don't have the funds for it.
Yeah.
So I have to go buy myself like an HP, like 8 gig just to do the show.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are in the same boat. They want this stuff, but they want Burns Steakhouse, but they got to go to.
No one knows what
Ponderosa.
that means.
It's a staple here in Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, no one knows what
Monster,
that
do
means.
some research. All right, it's one of the best dessert rooms in the nation. But let me tell you something. That's what they are. They want the $70 T-bone,
Everyone does.
but they have to go get the sirloin.
Why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah.
Like if I'm trying to build the team, obviously I want that.
But be
we have
realistic.
we have a cap room that limits what we can go do. And the way this team has been handled, they have thrown money around left and right, and it just hasn't worked out. Maybe if these signings have worked out in the long run, they'd be in a better situation. But you threw money to Cedric Wilson last offseason. He hasn't panned out. You talked about him yesterday on your fantasy show. He's more of a realistic fourth, fifth option on an offense. Right now, what is he? The third option, potentially. That was the role for him, and it's just not working out. So,
Yeah,
but-
I mean that's $8 million right there. You're just wasting on a third on a person you're not even going to use. It's the worst.
But right now, Jalen Ramsey, I believe if you signed him year one, he would cost $17.5 million against your cap. Yeah, you can go out. You can restructure Bradley Chubb if you wanted to, make some more money. You can then, hey, let's go restructure Tyreek Hill. We want to make money. We're not worried about the future. We're worried about now. So you could open up a lot of money, but that's going to ruin what you're going to do in the future. And Tyreek Hill is getting up there in age. He's 29 right now. He's a speed guy. I don't know if I'm comfortable with restructuring a guy like that to have his money pushed to the back end. Because I don't know where he's going to fall off. We saw Byron Jones. I truly feel like Byron Jones fell off this offseason athletically. Not because he played and he looked like that. I just think his legs gave out on him. He's a twitchy, athletic guy. He jumped high. These kind of guys, their knees go out and they get ruined very quickly early in their career. You see this with basketball players as well. So you just don't know when Tyreek is going to go out. So I don't know if I'd be comfortable with pushing money on the back end. Bradley Chubb, a little younger, more of a valuable position. So I would probably restructure him if I'm trying to make some money for Jalen Ramsey. I just don't know if it's a viable option for Miami due to the fact they need a lot of help in the long run. And that was a long way to say they need a lot of help in the long run. I don't know if it's the best option possible.
That's my words as well. Like, you literally said everything I was going to say. The fact is, everyone keeps on saying, oh, we could restructure this, restructure that, yada, yada, yada. But, yeah, the players have to do that. The players have to want to agree to restructure. And is it worth it? Sure. But for what? We know Buffalo's cream of the crop. We know if the Jets land someone like a Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be trouble. Like, so, yeah, you can compete. And everyone wants to compete now. Someone actually on my show last night said, hey, we sell for now. We're playing for now. But, yeah, we play for now. We'll be 2 and whatever forever until.
But you were playing for now this year as well,
yeah.
And you swung for the fences, not fully, but you loaded up for those fences, and you fell short. What happens if you keep doing that? You're going to end up having to sell the team and just start over completely. You're in a year right now. You have talented pieces around you. You really do. You just need to rebuild. This isn't a full tear the team apart and rebuild. You're just in a year where you might need to take some lesser cap to open up more cap down the road, and then do that as my dog walks in here. You need to. I lost my thought because of my darn dog. But you need to look for the future, but also rebuild right now.
So, okay, the way I look at not this Dolphins team, because they're not quite where the Bucs were when they got Brady. But they were there to win. Like, they were ready. Jameis was.
Oh, for sure.
We all knew it, right? What happened? Brady came. Godwin gave his jersey number up. That's minute. But they also like Evans. Okay, I'll take a new deal. Levante David. Okay, I'll take a new deal. Like, the whole team came together to have this one goal, and they did it. They won the Super Bowl. Now look at them. They're in hell. They're in hell. Is that what you want your football team to be like after you just make it to the AFC title game? Because let's face it. This team isn't good enough to win the whole league, because the AFC is super stacked. You're not beating Mahomes. You're not beating Josh Allen right now. I'm sorry. It's a reality. Yeah. So do you really want to put your team in such disarray for the next 3 to 4 years just because you want to go out and make one splash that may not work?
Yeah, and I don't think, I truly don't think this team, I do at this point. I think this team is far. But in the grand scheme of things, if we're looking at next year, yeah, they're far off. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to compete for the division next year. I don't. But
well, why is Dave calling? What's Lua? What's a Lua? Is that something? I don't know?
Yeah, he's saying he's calling him Lua because all the L's he took in December.
That's messed up, man.
So there's
That's
that.
Cool.
But I don't think they're competing next year because of how the roster was built and the cap situation going into next year, and the lack of draft capital for this season. So, but I think you could structure yourself for the long run in a good situation by getting talented, middle of the road. Wait till the first week and a half is over with, and then start and get those free agents and things like that, and build your roster the right way. Dave is in here. He's a Green Bay fan. Yeah, how many big splashes have they made? How many trades have they made? How many How many big name free agent players has Green Bay gone out over the span of his time watching them and signed them and created the team around that? I guarantee you he's going to say barely any, because that team is in the running every year almost. They're a great franchise that ran well, but they signed the low-key free agents, and then they go out and spend in the draft.
But they also have an Aaron Rodgers, and they had a Brett Favre.
They drafted that.
But I understand they drafted that. I understand that. But what I'm saying is it gives you a lot of leeway to not make those big splashes. Pittsburgh used to be that way, but now they're making splashes because in today's NFL,
how many are they making? What splashes are they making? They went out and got a safety because the value that they're getting out of it from Miami.
All I know.
But what other big splashes have they made? Like these teams that are ran really, really well and are around for longevity time, like periods, they make the big splash when it's necessary. When they need to load up and say, okay, this is the year. We need this one piece to go. So
you're right. There's a reason why in every sport, not just
there we
football,
go. Ocean City. That's where you go to drink. Secrets is out there. That's what you do. 302. He's in Maryland. I'm in Delaware. We're right next to each other.
Flyover states getting together.
Yeah.
Super happy for you guys. Super happy. But back to that point though. So what are some corners, some secondary that the Dolphins can get on the cheap end? Like who are we looking at if we can't afford someone like a Jalen Ramsey? Do you have any other options?
I think you're looking at potentially someone past their prime a little bit. I would personally look at maybe a Patrick Peterson. Stopgap guy who could possibly come in cheap because he is a little older, didn't play well last year. What?
Do you really want a guy who got burnt by Richie James for 16 minutes in a playoff game? Like, do you really want that? Let me ask you that. No, hold on. Do you want a guy who got burnt at least 80% of the time against... No, it wasn't Richie James. Was it Richie James? Because I thought it was Hakeem Nicks out there. That's how good he looked. Dude, Peterson's toast. You don't want that. You don't want that.
For the cheap, and I think he can help develop my younger guys. I wouldn't mind him.
But for the cheap, what? For what?
Like $3 million 1 year, $3 million deal, something like that.
For him to get
I might take him.
All game, like what? For
potentially, yeah. He's not going to be going up against Diggs. He's going to be the number 2 corner in this defense.
He couldn't even cover Richie James, who's the number 6 in this league. Come on, man, that guy's done. Seriously.
He's also going to be in a better secondary, in my opinion. He's not going to be man covering guys. He's going to be more in his own scheme, which is going to fit him a little better because he can watch rather than follow. I think this offense or defense could be good for Patrick Peterson. I'm not saying that he's prime Patrick Peterson because he is not. He's past his prime. But if you can get him for cheap, I'm taking that rather than potentially some other guy. Another guy I have, Anthony Brown. I don't think he's a number 2 cornerback.
You're just like, you're all going into it. You're all getting...
Yeah, my hands just go wild. Like, I'm over here Ricky Bobby sometimes.
So who are these corners?
Yeah, but Anthony Brown could be an option. I think he could be someone that comes in, plays a nickel position. He plays nickel very well. I think he could be had for cheap because he's been playing in Dallas. He's played well in Dallas. And we know how Miami loves to get Dallas players. This is kind of like DC Jr. over here. Because that's who they are. I mean, Cedric Wilson did well. Oh, let's sign him. Byron Jones did well. Oh, let's sign him. And the list goes on. But I think he could just play really well in that 3 spot if you're willing to. He's locked down there, in my opinion. And then I thought A.J. Green, another cheaper option, someone that could come in, play cornerback for you as well.
Did Quincy Carter play for the Dolphins too?
I don't think so. He got busted for coke and was out of the league. And I disagree. Anthony Brown is not a number 2 corner like he's been playing in Dallas. He is a nickel, a dime cornerback playing on the inside, and he is actually very well at what he does there. On the outside, he is not.
I agree. I agree with that statement. I like that statement by Josh. That was good. Defense. No, for real though. Defense rules.
Hashtag defense.
I heard these rumors. Maybe a Poyer from Buffalo coming on over. 32 years old, a little older. He could add some spark to this defense. Plus, he has to play Buffalo twice a year. What do you think about that, Josh?
Poyer?
Yeah.
I mean, depends on what he's going to come in at. But, yeah, I'd be down for Poyer as well. I mean, it's really just going to come down to the financial cost that you're going to be spending at these positions. Because right now, if I look at their depth chart, if Byron Jones is out, which it seems like he will, and that'll free up some money, but you're looking at releasing Byron Jones anyway, so don't expect any free money in that situation. You're looking at having Xavier Howard, Noah Igbenogany, and Keon Cross. And then you're going to have Cater Kohu and Trill Williams. I believe Trill Williams is a free agent. Probably going to bring him back. But currently you have, it looks like 5 cornerbacks on your roster. That's including nickel back. So you're going to need to add more skill into that position. You're going to need to find value. Because at the same time, I'm looking at the defensive tackle position. You got Roquan Davis, Christian Wilkins, and then on the defensive line, just go there, Zach Seiler and Emmanuel Agba, who has also been considered to be an option to trade or cut because of the value of his contract, which you're going to have to get out of there if you're wanting to sign these big name guys. So,
you going to want to sign anyone, yeah. But I believe their defensive line is set. Chubb out there, Phillips, Wilkins.
But they don't have depth. That's the issue. The depth behind that is just not there.
Hey, look, I've been hearing this from Dolphins fans all offseason so far, the 1 month of it. Oh, bro, but we can get it in the draft, man. Dude, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Let's talk about that. I was on the draft show last Friday. We were talking.
I didn't watch.
And, yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate your support and love during all the shows I'm a part of. I did watch your show last night, though. It was great.
You're a big fan, huh?
But they started listing off the player or the picks that they had, and they start going second round pick. I believe they have 2 third-round picks. And then the next pick I heard potentially was like a 6th round pick. I'm like, holy shit. Like, where are the picks here? Like, I get it. You didn't have first-round picks, but where did the rest of them go? You're missing a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th. What is going on? They have no value there. And you know me, I'm a big draft guy. Like, build through the draft. That's where the value is. You're going to get young talent. And then eventually you're going to be able to spend that money on the big name players, which unfortunately my team does not do. Their lack of going out and getting the big name guy is causing them not to play well and not be able to do long-term things. But I think this team needs to just kind of I don't want to say rebuild, because rebuilds are retool their roster a little bit. And then get to next year where they're going to have a lot more money. Hopefully they can move on from Tua, and that's just my opinion. I had to do my drop of Tua because you're not a part of the network if you don't talk about Tua one episode. So that's my opinion. That long way of saying, again, I don't think Jalen Ramsey's a realistic option in Miami. So
we keep on going back to Ramsey. Look, Ramsey's not.
I know we haven't moved on. But let's talk about the free agents coming up for the Dolphins on the defensive side of the ball. I'm seeing like players that played a lot of snaps. Robert Alondon, he played 59, almost 60% of the snaps. He's a free agent. You have Eric Rowe, played 49% of the snaps. Melvin Ingram, who probably isn't that big. He's probably going to cost more in the long run. I don't know if I'm re-signing Melvin Ingram unless he comes back on that $4 million a year deal. He's also 34 years old. But he did play 45% of the snaps. Duke Riley, another big free agent, 32% of the snaps, $3 million. Maybe if you can get him on the cheap, you can bring him back. And then you have some other guys. But Trey Flowers is another option. He didn't play much, but he could be someone you bring in on the cheap as well to come back. It's really going to be if you can bring these guys ultimately back fairly cheap and less than they played for last year. You're ultimately going to be good. So hopefully you can do that. But
you know what I want to see?
It's whether or not you can do that or not. And they're very old. Like, they're older for what you want to roster. This team was old. It really was. I wonder what the average age of a roster is. Stager could probably find that in 2 seconds. But you have Brandon Shell. I know this is offense, but Brandon Shell, 31. Alondon Roberts, 29. Trent Sherfield, 27. Raheem Mostert, 31. You had Greg Little, a left tackle who you should bring back, 26. Eric Rowe, 31. 28, 28, 34, 29, 37, 28, 27, 34. You have a very old roster last year. So let's try and, when we're retooling, get a little younger, get people that have more development to them, and build this roster up for the longevity.
Josh, you done with your monologue? You done with your monologue?
Yeah, I'm ready. Cool. You're like, pause for me.
Thank you. Okay, can I go?
Yeah,
all right,
you can go.
So here's the thing: is I want to ask you, because I'm gonna have you talk again with this Vic Fangio offense, with this defense, this roster at this defense at the current state. Is this going to be a situation where they're going to drop back, maybe play a little bit more zone defense, maybe ease up on the blitzes? We're going to see a lot of more confusion in the secondary, maybe mess up with Josh Allen. We saw that turnover difference with Josh Allen. He turned it over a ton. My biggest thing, the Dolphins were -7 in the turnover differential. Like, I just looked it up, and I'm like, that's bad. Like, I want to be on the plus side at all times. I feel like they weren't generating the turnovers. They need more.
I think ultimately with Vic Fangio, you're going to be on the positive side. It's what he does. But he creates havoc with his pass rush. And then it happens in the secondary. You have Xavier Howard. If you can get a full season out of Xavier Howard with this defense, he's going to be doing Xavier Howard things. It just sucks that Byron Jones isn't Byron Jones, because he's the perfect combination to Howard. Someone that can just really cover very well, force you to throw it to Howard, who is that turnover machine, who takes chances, who shows that the person is more open than what they are, and then goes and takes the ball away. So that kind of stinks. But you need to find someone that could be that option on the other side of him. I think Vic Fangio is going to be a good signing for the Dolphins long term. I think he's a smart mind, obviously. It's just, what are you going to give him to work with? Because currently there's nothing. There's literally nothing for him to work with other than a couple starters, and fingers crossed they don't get hurt.
Fingers crossed, but everyone gets hurt in the NFL.
Yeah.
Do you want to go move on to the linebackers? That's what I was kind of pivoting to with the whole blitzing situation.
Yeah.
You kind of like disregarded that, but that's okay.
I don't pick up on hints like that.
I know you don't. You're on the slow.
I constantly have to hear my wife, "Oh no, I dropped these hints and you don't hear it." Just tell me, bro. Just tell me.
So what about the linebacking crew? Like, that's your biggest thing. I remember, like, this is what I always pick up when I talk to you about the Miami Dolphins defensive roster. You're like, the linebackers aren't quick enough, they're not fast enough, they're not smart enough, they're not good enough.
I didn't. Whoa.
That's what I'm picking up.
I never said smart enough. Let's roll that back a little bit.
Whatever, but you said they couldn't understand this.
I think they do have, with Vic Fangio, I think they have good options. Bradley Chubb obviously played in Vic Fangio's defense. And then you also have a Jalen Phillips, another first-round player. I think he can bring the most out of him as well. The thing that I'm excited for is Channing Tindall. Sorry, I read this and I can't. Like, okay.
Gosh.
You can't be. But
we're not ready to win now. I just want to put that out there, right there. I'm sorry. Thank you for watching, but we're not ready to win now.
Like, it looks good on the outside, but teams don't win from the outside. They win from their core. And there is no core currently to the Miami Dolphins. But the player I'm most excited for with this offense or defense is Channing Tindall. I think this is going to be a perfect match for him because he is a straight line guy, speed guy. He can close very quickly. So I think this is going to be great. Move him as inside linebacker and let him just eat. I really think that his closing speed is unreal. The only issue I have, he's not the greatest tackler right now. He needs to get more consistent. He bangs people rather than wraps up. I want to see more out of that.
Dave, why'd you got to go there? Why'd you have to go there with the Tua situation? Come on, man. It was a defensive show. But yes, they can win with Tua. Tua is a franchise quarterback.
I don't.
Chill. He's a franchise quarterback. Let's just chill on that. All right. I want to talk about it. I said it on the fantasy show last night. If you want Lamar, cool. You're still going to miss 10 games a year or whatever it is, or 5 games a year because he missed 10 in the past 2. So what? You're replacing Tua and his accuracy and his intelligence with Lamar, who's also awesome, but can't stay on the field as well? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Running in circles.
I think, like, I get Lamar's been hurt, but I also think Lamar has been, you're not paying me. I'm not going to try as hard to get back. Like, if you're not as invested in me, if you're not invested in me, I'm not going to be invested in you.
If my boss isn't invested in me,
I don't blame him. But I do think I'm not going to hold that against Lamar. Tua situation, like, you don't want to hold it against him because it sucks that he's getting hurt like this. But you have to. The brain injuries is a big thing right now. Are we not talking about these brain injuries being long-term issues for players, current issue for players? That is a big, big thing. And I am concerned for Tua as a person. Like, I don't know. Like, we've talked about this. Should Tua continue his career? And if we're having these conversations, I am sure the Miami Dolphins are having these conversations. And what do they have to do? They have to protect themselves. If they are a smart franchise, they are going to protect themselves some way, somehow. And I think you have to do that.
I think he's going to play football this year coming up. I've fallen.
I do too.
I was on the thing of like, well, he should sit a whole year, relax, take it easy. And I honestly think he should, if that's what he chooses to do. But I do think that he's going to play. I think he'll be fine. I do think that he is a liability, but when he's out there, he is a franchise quarterback. The numbers show. The numbers show you. Numbers don't lie. Like, you follow the numbers, you follow the percentages. Tua is a top 5 quarterback across the board. He's a franchise quarterback.
So if you like Tua, then you should do this for me. You should go ahead and like and subscribe, because we here are trying to get to 760 YouTube subscribers. We're at that right now. Go us. We want to get to 1,000 before the draft. So please do that. Hit like and subscribe. Also, Mugs and Balls, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Like us, love us. Do what you got to do. But yeah.
Dave,
Tua is not a top 5 QB.
Dave. Show me on the NFL website where wins is a statistical category that you can sort through with quarterbacks, because you can't. It's not a stat. Don't show me these wins. Get the fuck out of here, dude. I love you. I really do. But let's just tell. I'm over the whole like wins situation. It drives me nuts. It really does. Yes, good quarterbacks win. That's why Mahomes. That's why I picked Mahomes to be MVP. That's why I picked him to win the Super Bowl. That's why I picked him to be the Super Bowl MVP. But the thing is, it's a team freaking sport. The ultimate team sport. The ultimate.
It is, and I agree with that. I just don't think Tua plays well down the stretch. Obviously, he's not been available down the stretch most games.
Neither is Lamar the past 2 years either.
Yeah, that's true. But if I had the opportunity, I'd spend more money on Lamar than Tua. So, and that's just me. I just see more of a talent with Lamar rather than Tua. But
I haven't seen growth with Lamar, but I saw growth with Tua this year. I never seen the leap from where Lamar has never progressed. He's only regressed. Tua's only progressed.
No, and I get that. But you saw that with the new offensive mind come in. Lamar hasn't had a new offensive mind. He's had the same boring offensive mind that Colin Kaepernick had. And then Kaepernick was the greatest thing since sliced bread. How are you going to control Kaepernick? And then Greg Roman controlled him, because Greg Roman just flops out with his quarterbacks. And then he went up to Buffalo. Tyrod Taylor. Oh, my God, Tyrod Taylor. Where'd he come from? Where did he go? Cotton Eye Joe. But and then he flopped out with him. And then he came to Baltimore. Lamar, same exact thing. Looked fantastic and then flopped out again. So I think it's a Greg Roman thing. With Monken coming in, I think you're going to see more from him, but that's just my opinion. I think a new offensive mind is going to do that for Lamar, just like so that would do it.
You're a Philly guy, Eagles guy. You're in that area.
Oh yeah,
like but what I'm about to bring up is actually towards your you would know. Carson Wentz was obviously released from the Washington football team. Would he be a good fit to back up Tua? That's 2 injury-prone quarterbacks.
I would not take Carson. I was a big Carson guy.
Let me ask you this: at the backup quarterback position, the Taylor Heineke's, the Gardner Minshew's, like where does he rank amongst those people?
Carson Wentz. I'm going to have to say he's towards the bottom of the barrel, in my opinion.
You hate Carson Wentz.
I was a big Carson Wentz guy. I saw the talent in him after he left Philadelphia. I was like, you're crazy for getting rid of him. But my cousin Adam, who did this show with me before, he's an Eagles fan, and he's like, look, Carson Wentz as an Eagle, when he went out for that long period of time, when Nick Foles came in, he got hit so hard in his head. His head literally slammed to the ground. And he said in that moment, I was like, this guy is not mentally right. And then as he came back, you just saw the progression in that. And I don't know if he's there. Like, he makes dumb mistakes he never made. He was never a big turnover guy, and now he's a big turnover guy. I just don't know if Carson Wentz is that guy. I might take him as my third quarterback, but he's going to cost too much to do that because someone's going to say, oh, there is potential here. And there really isn't.
I'm going to say you're wrong. Only on the part of the big turnover guy. I don't think it's because of the ghosts and he's scared and timid and worried or whatever you were saying. I think he's trying to prove himself, and he's trying too hard. When he played for Indianapolis, he only had about 5 interceptions. People don't understand that. He only had about 5 picks. He only threw 5 picks, and most of them came late in the season when he was throwing off his back
How's
foot
it going,
with his left.
Anthony? Oh, my bad.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
just shout out to Anthony. He joined your show yesterday.
Oh, what's up,
Joined our
Anthony?
show last week. Joined our draft show.
First
Just
beer.
appreciating someone that just keeps returning.
I was drinking on the show, and I'm trying to read it. I'm like, Kimmel. Oh, thank you, Anthony, my guy, man. Thanks for tuning in. I love Anthony. Anthony's a good guy. But the thing is, what was I talking about? Damn it.
Here you were talking about these
like
potential backups guys and Carson Wentz being
yes,
the
Carson
next
Wentz.
god.
Carson, no, he's not the next god. But people are saying the turnovers, poor decisions. Yes, poor decisions, but because he's trying way too hard to prove himself.
But that's a problem.
He never got his glory. Nick Foles took over that team when Carson Wentz should have won the Super Bowl that year, but Foles did it. So Wentz is playing hero ball with the Colts.
But that's a problem. That's a mental problem.
But is it a mental problem? Like, as what you're saying is he's scared, he's afraid to get hurt again, so he's playing.
No, I don't think it's that. I think he's mentally not fully where he was before that hit. That's where I think. I don't think he's scared or anything like that. I just don't think he's fully there.
Like, he's trying to prove like he's still got it, and then overplaying is making the mistakes. And that's
okay, how about
where he's
this?
at now.
Would you say no to a Joe Flacco as a backup quarterback?
I would say
in
yes.
Miami?
I would say yes.
Okay. I think you get him for cheap. Taylor Heineke's an option.
I would say yes.
Chad Henne just retired, correct?
I would say no. I would say no regardless. No.
Chad Henne, no?
I would say no. Because there's better options out there. Give me a Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's going to back up, but he can start.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be a backup. But what about
he's not a great starter.
What about a Sam Darnold as well? Someone you can get on cheap. I don't know
Darnold
if he would do that.
I'd be nice for Sam Darnold because you get at least 2. All you want from your backup quarterback is him to step in and win you a couple games or to go 500 in that time. That's what we're looking at. We're not looking at these Brock Purdy. See, people get stuck in this Brock Purdy situation where they think that happens all the time. It doesn't. It clearly doesn't. And I know this is a callback from early on the show when you're calling out Tyreek's age and his speed. Deshaun Jackson still played in 2022.
I know.
John Brown still played in 2022. Those are speed guys.
Do you want to do you want to be?
No, I just want to bring that up. I just came off the top of my head.
I'm just saying, but do you want to be paying Tyreek the money that you're currently paying him now, while he's playing like Deshaun Jackson is right now?
The way I look at that situation is you're going to pay him the money regardless. I don't care what years they come in.
I know, but later on, if you don't do that, when he's at that point, let's cut him. Okay, he's not going to be making as much money. There's not going to be as much salary bonus to that. You can get rid of him at that point. In the situation where you're restructuring, pushing the money back, pushing it back, you're not going to have the opportunity to cut him at that age. So that's why I'm saying let's leave the opportunity to get rid of him and not have him cost a lot. And let's restructure Bradley Chubb, who's at a more valuable position. You're probably going to be spending the money on the value that he'll drop off at anyway. So let's do it that way.
Yeah. Hey, Josh. While we're pretty much done with the defensive breakdown, the truth sucks. It really does. Like the Dolphins are kind of screwed. I'm sorry. Like I really am. I want them to be good too, but they're just not going to be. What do we have planned for them going forward? Did we talk about that pre-game? I forgot.
As far as what? Sorry.
Benjamin Albright coming on the show pretty soon.
Yeah. We're gonna have. We dropped this on the draft show. We're gonna have Ben Albright on for March 13th. We haven't figured out a time yet. We're trying to talk over with him. Probably more of afternoon time, right when the draft is starting. Or not the draft. The free agency starts up. The little negotiation period. But we're gonna have him on. We're excited for that. We're also gonna have Ryan Roberts on from Rise and Draft, and I believe that's going to be. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, because we got a couple of people coming on April 17th. We're going to have him on same time that we always do, and then we're going to also have one of my draft buddies. His name is Matt. He just recently signed with a new draft website, so we're going to have him on talk some football as well.
So the point of that is hit that alert button, like click the notifications, because the Benjamin Albright interview that we have, like we had him last year as well. We don't know when we're going to go live with him because we're depending on his schedule.
Or
so you don't want to miss that. Or
go into
go ahead.
Go into Twitter, and we have a little link that you can join our Discord channel, and you can join the Beer and Sports community, and we update you as we go live and when things happen. So there's that as well.
Perfect. Yes, and for all the updates, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, the alert for notifications when we go live, because we are working on Josh. Josh gets guests. I told him when I first met Josh Wingate, I said, he's like, who's your dream guest? Because I do a fantasy football show. I said, I like Adam Rank. He's my favorite just because he's funny. Boom. Next week, Adam Rank said he's going to come on the show.
Was it next week or was it that night? It was that night.
He's just like, yeah, Adam Rank said he'll do your show. I'm like, how is this possible? How?
But I'm not going to lie. I was kind of big dicking it back then. I had Nick Mangold come on the show, Adam Rank, Ben Albright. Ben Albright did he did a mock draft with the network at that time.
Yes. So Josh gets good guests. So you want to make sure you're following us because we do get good guests on occasion. Some big names. So
I had a pretty big name that's in the chat as well. I don't know if he's still here, but Dave Steger came on too.
Yeah, Dave Steger. He's always a favorite over here in on the Fins Talk Sports Network. But Josh, I think we're gonna.
I felt like there was so much sarcasm in what you just said.
No, I love Dave. I love Brandon Rogers. I love this guy. He's the best. Dave's awesome. Dave filled in when I needed him the most, and I really do appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah. Some other names, because we were going to get into free agency after this. We have a couple more minutes left, so I do want to talk about some potential defensive free agents that I came up with. Devin Bush, the linebacker from Pittsburgh. He was a first-round pick. Let's bring him in. He's at a spot where he needs to prove something. So he's young. Like I love a young player that I can bring in. Maybe get him a 1 to 2 deal on the cheap, and then let him prove it. Bring him in. Kyle Van Noy. Is he an option to bring back? Because when he played here, he was the heart and soul of this defense. He's a free agent again. Potentially bring him back. I don't know. Anthony Barr, I think he could be a good option as well. He could be on the cheap. Rashaan Evans, he had a high snap count this year, but he could probably be brought $2, $3, $4 million a year. And then on the defensive line side of thing, I think Tyson Alualu could be good depth. Michael Brocker is coming at the end of his career. Could be a good depth as well. And if there's one guy I am willing on the defensive side to spend money on, it is Deron Payne. And I think everyone's going to try and spend money. The money's going to be up there. But if there's one guy in this free agency that I can go and get, I would want to have Deron Payne on my team some way, somehow, because he is that dude. And I think he would be a great addition to any defense, to be honest with you.
There you go. I have no additions to that.
No?
No, I don't. I have no additions, no words. I'm ready to go to Hogwarts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're still playing that game?
There's a lot to do.
I've been told that I have to download, let's see, try to find out what it's called, Sons of the Forest or something like that.
Okay. Well, none of these people care. Let's log us out of here, and I'm going to get back to Hogwarts.
Oh, you just want to hardcore get back to Hogwarts.
I really do. I haven't played that yet.
So, I know we've been slacking on this, but I'm trying to get you to do it every week because this is the thing. You came on this show and you said, I want to start something here. I want to leave people on a good note. So let's leave people on a good note. What do you have to say?
Look, guys, this correlates with this whole episode. The truth. The truth. It's a beautiful and terrible thing. And should there be treated with great caution. The great Albus Dumbledore.